Hello everyone, welcome back to The Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today I want to walk you through my saddle hunting setup from start to finish. All my equipment, how I climb the tree, how I set up, and how high I get, all of that. I'm going to go through it today. Probably going to be kind of a longer video, so just stick with me if this is something you're interested in. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time. But I wanted to make sure that I got partway through the season first and I had some good hunts under my belt and kind of had my system refined a little bit and really working for me. And I think I have it. That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect for you, but that's one of the beauties of saddle hunting is it's super customizable and you can get the equipment and the style that works for you. I'm going to leave links down in the description to all kinds of the equipment that I'm using. So if you're interested in checking it out in more detail, go ahead and check out the description box for more details. Now, one thing you'll notice that when I walk in, 90% of the time I'm wearing the saddle, which is the tethered Phantom saddle. And that way when I get to the tree, it's one less thing to do. And then all the rest of the equipment is on my back. Now, a few times I have actually put the saddle in my backpack if I was going on an exceptionally long hunt. It just helps the backpack to ride on my hips a little bit better without the saddle. So if I'm going to be going on an exceptionally long hike, I will occasionally put the saddle in the backpack, but probably 90–95% of the time I am actually wearing the saddle in to hunt. One of the great things about this setup is that I'm very mobile, I'm pretty nimble, and my bow is in my hand. So if I did happen to have a chance at an animal, particularly a deer, while I'm headed in to hunt, my bow is in my hand, everything's free, I'm not carrying sticks in my hand, I don't have anything dangling off of me or a lot of random straps around me. Everything is nice and compact on my back. One thing I want to show you here, I'm going to set my bow down, is that I'm using this Mystery Ranch Pop-Up 28 backpack. Now, a lot of the Mystery Ranch products are designed for Western style hunters, those guys who have to pack their meat out. And this is the style of pack I have. You may be able to see that right here, there's an overload shelf. And what that overload shelf normally would be used for is like a deer or an elk quarter if you were going to be packing out meat. But I've got it packed here with my Predator platform from Tethered and 3 Hawk Helium 20-inch climbing sticks. One of the things I love about this setup is that it keeps it all nice and compact and keeps all the heavy items really close to my back. You can see that nothing is sticking up very high. The top of the climbing sticks are only about neck high, so when I go to duck under a brush, I'm not getting hung up on a lot of stuff. And it's really nice, really liking the system so far. Again, keep in mind that I am a self-filmer. I carry probably 10 to 12 pounds of camera gear. This backpack is not the lightest backpack on its own, but the extra weight is something I'm willing to sacrifice because it makes carrying the rest of the weight super comfortable. Now, my entire saddle hunting setup, the platform, the saddle and ropes, and the climbing sticks come in right about 14 pounds. So that's not counting my camera equipment or gutting equipment or any other hunting equipment that I have or even the backpack, but the saddle stuff alone weighs 14 pounds. So now let's reposition the camera and I'll show you what I'm going to do when I get to the tree and I'm ready to start climbing. When I walk up to the tree, one of the first things I'm going to do is actually try to determine which side of the tree I'm going to climb. That may occasionally be based upon the lean of the tree, but oftentimes it's going to be based upon where I expect deer movement. So for instance, if I expect deer movement over this way and on this side, I want to be set up on this side of the tree where my strong side shot is over here. Now, often what I'll do is I'll climb at a 90-degree angle to where I want my platform to be. In this case, usually what I do is I will climb on this side of the tree, keeping my sticks out of view of deer that I expect to be on that side. Is it a big deal? The sticks usually spook deer? Not in my experience. It's just one little thing that I do to try to keep anything like my aiders from blowing or anything like that from spooking deer. So I'm going to go ahead and climb this side of the tree and I'll put my platform on this side of the tree. When I'm ready to climb, I'm going to take my backpack off. My bow's on the ground. Take my backpack off and I just have to undo these clips right here. Fold away this part of the backpack and now I can pull out my Predator platform and my 3 20-inch Hawk climbing sticks. Now you may know that these sticks come in a 4-pack, but for my climbing system, I've decided to only go ahead and use 3. Now I'll buckle these back up and I can go ahead and put my backpack back on my back. Now the Predator platform, this is actually something new. Like I said, I'm trying to dial in my system. And what I've done with the help of my lovely wife, doing a little sewing, I have this buckle right here and I can buckle the Predator platform to my saddle. Just like that. So it's good to go. Now, previously in the season, I was using a Night Eyes gear tie and looping it through the platform, but I actually had a situation where it kind of slipped out and almost fell on my hunting buddy's head on the ground, really close to having a big accident there. So I went to this system that's actually a clip. I think it's gonna be a lot more secure. Believe it or not, this is my first time using it, so I'll let you know as it goes how that works. Now I've got my, my 3 climbing sticks here, and I've got these set up with Amsteel daisy chains and Amsteel aiders that I made myself using Amsteel from doublestep.com. Now, I have 2 sticks that don't really matter where they go, and one that is my bottom stick. So most of my steps here have a single aider on them, but my bottom step has a double aider on it. Now, I use that at the bottom because I feel a lot more secure on it at the bottom than using that double aider when I'm 10, 15, 20 feet up in the air. So what I do is I get this bottom stick all ready to go, and I got my daisy chain here, step up to the tree, and I'm gonna put the bottom of that step about knee high. Go around the tree here. All right, there we go. All right, get that daisy chain on and cinch it down. Now, that step kind of came down a little bit. So at this point, there's a couple more things I need to do before I'm actually ready to climb. Number 1 is I'm gonna set my bow over to this side. And on my right-hand side of my backpack here, I have this Allen Company retractable gear hoist. So I'm gonna hook that up to my bow. And then I need to get my other sticks ready to climb. Now I've got 2 loops of paracord right here. Get my microphone out of the way. 2 loops of paracord that I loop over the Versa button. So there's 1 stick. Just got to tighten up the saddle a little bit with the extra weight. Put my other stick on the other side. And now I'm ready to climb. Going to go ahead and get out my lineman's belt. Put that around the tree, clip in, and I'm ready to climb. Now, one thing you'll notice here is I've got my sticks, and my bow is the only thing that's going to be left on the ground to be pulled up by my retractable gear hoist. So tighten up my lineman's belt, step up into the bottom aider there, and step up. I'll tighten up my lineman's belt, position it up the tree a little bit, and step up again. Once I get to the top of my first stick, which is, my feet are probably already at 6.5 feet, pull off my next stick, open it up, and like I said earlier, this is only a single step aider rather than a double step on this stick. And once I get it opened up, ready to go, once again, I'm gonna put the bottom of that aider about knee high. Bring my stick around. Now in this case, I kind of ended up between 2 slots on my daisy chain. I'm gonna camp the stick to the side, bring it back in, and I'm gonna seat my stick. Step up into the aider, plant my toe into the tree, climb up, make sure I bring my lineman's belt up with me. And once again, I'm up to the top of my next stick. 1 last stick to go. And once again, I'll put that aider at or maybe just above my knee. Put on my daisy chain, cinch that down. Step up into the aider. Make sure that stick is seated down. Step up. All right, now at this point, before I step up to the very top step of my stick, I'm gonna go ahead and set my platform. And I do that so that I'm not bending over quite so far when I'm at the top of my stick. Now I will say so far, I really liked how easy it was to get that buckle on and off. Definitely gonna be running that a lot more. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this about 90 degrees off to the side of the top of my sticks. And Just to give myself a little bit more height, I'm going to go ahead and set it just about a foot above the top of my sticks. One thing you'll notice here is my lineman's belt is above my platform, so I'm not having to position or maneuver my lineman's belt over my platform once the platform is set. It's already above it. I'm going to cam that platform over, then I can step up to my top step, and usually what I'll do, I'll cinch that lineman's belt up, and before I even step onto the platform, I'll go ahead and reach into my sys hauler over here and get out my tether. All right, got my tether on the tree. I will pull out my adjustable bridge here on my Phantom. Go ahead and clip in and adjust the length of my tether there. Go ahead and step up onto my Predator platform. Now I'm going to go ahead and loosen my lineman's belt. I'm not going to take it off, I'm just going to loosen it until I make sure that the tether is actually holding my weight. All right, there we go. And at this point I could go ahead and take the lineman's belt off if I wanted to, but for now I'm actually going to climb back down, and I'm going to set this up at ground level and show you how I set up the rest of my gear as far as bow hanger, cameras, all of that kind of stuff. One more thing I wanted to mention before I get down, I just measured it. And on this particular climb, my platform is 16 feet. Now I know a lot of you probably want to get 20, 25 feet in the air, but if you're in some cover, I found that 16 feet is working just fine for me. I will say that I didn't stretch my steps a whole lot today. I could stretch them a little bit and probably get 17 and a half feet out of this setup. Certainly if you use the other Hawk stick, you could probably get yourself closer to 20 feet. But as far as carrying and my system to get up the tree, I've really been enjoying just using the 3 sticks. All right, I'm going to come down. I'm going to show you my setup on the ground. Well, everyone, I am back on a different and much colder day to finish out this video. I had some technical difficulties when I finished it out last time. So last time I finished with climbing the tree, getting everything up in the tree, and now I've reset at ground level just so I can show you with a better camera angle what I would be normally doing up in the air getting ready for a hunt. So now the only thing that's not up in the tree with me at this point is my bow. I've got my backpack on, my bow is attached over here with my retractable gear hoist. So at this point, one of the first things that I really want to do is get my bow up into the tree, especially on an evening hunt. I don't want to get caught maybe with early deer movement and my bow is on the ground. I want to get that up as quick as I can. Now the other reason that I want to get it up as quick as I can is because I don't want this pull cord. I want to be able to take this backpack off and I'm going to be moving it around. I don't want this pull cord to be wrapping around my legs and that kind of thing. So the quicker that I can get the bow up and the pull cord retracted, the happier I am. So for me, what I do is I slip one side of my backpack off, and in this pouch back here on this side, I can just reach back, and of course it fell all the way to the bottom, but I have got this strap here, which is for my bow and my second angle camera. Now, unfortunately, this tree that I set up in to demonstrate this has this big old knot over here, but hopefully this will still work. On this strap, this is another OCB, or over the center buckle, from Double Step Outdoors. And one thing I should also mention here is you may have seen how I just really had to reach forward to get around this tree to work. So a lot of times when I'm setting up, what I like to do is really pull this tether up tight, so I'm very upright and my body's close to the tree. So now I'm going to put this over the center buckle on. And one thing I should mention is most of you probably don't need an over the center buckle for your bow hanger. The bow is not that heavy, your bow hanger is not that heavy, but I'll show you in a minute my second angle camera, and my second angle camera is going to put a lot of tension on this strap, and so I use the over the center buckle that's going to get the strap a lot tighter. Now I'm trying to talk here and do this and making it look complicated. It's really not. Put that strap over, and on this side I'm going to put my bow hanger, and on this side I'm going to position the mount for my second angle camera. I've got some other videos about that on the channel if you're interested. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull my bow up, and obviously I'm only a foot off the ground. I'm going to unclip the bow from the gear hoist, and then I'm going to hang my bow over here backwards for right now. And the reason is I can't really hang it facing that way like I normally would with the quiver on. But at this point, I'm now free to set up everything else on the tree. I've got my gear hoist up, I've got my bow up. I'm not putting an arrow in just yet. I'm not necessarily ready to hunt, but if I did see deer movement, I could get ready pretty quickly. Now, at this point, I can take my backpack off, and what I do is I just put it right down here, sort of at my knees, kind of set it on the top post there of the Predator platform, and now I can begin to set up the rest of my gear. Now, for a lot of you that aren't filmers, you don't film your hunts or film other people's hunts, a lot of this isn't necessarily going to apply to you. And really at this point, if you weren't a filmer, you'd be just about ready to hunt. Maybe you'd want to hang your backpack or get out some grunt calls or range finders, that kind of thing. That would be a very personalized way of setting up. But for me as a filmer, I've still got a good bit left to do. Now at this point, I'm really close to hunting. For most of my hunts, this is pretty much what it's going to look like, but I do need to get rid of my backpack. So in this pouch up front here, I do have a piece of paracord with a plastic carabiner and a paracord Prusik knot on it. And I'm going to move my camera arm out of the way here, and I'm going to just slip that around the tree, and I'll hang my backpack off of the other side of the tree over here. Now, really the last thing that I'm going to do at this point is get ready to hunt, which means an arrow on my bow. I'm going to pull an arrow out of the quiver. This arrow right here is the one that shot my buck this year, and I don't shoot with my quiver on, so I take that quiver off. Now I hang my bow on that hook facing that way. Again, I got this weird knot on the tree. Normally I have the arrow pointed out in front of me. And then I'm going to just take this quiver over here, and I'm going to clip it on over here with my backpack. Now, this is one of those areas where I mentioned earlier I'd like to do some refining in my system. I'd like to have a way to hang my quiver off of this strap up here. I just haven't quite come up with the right DIY solution for that. Okay, at this point I'm pretty much ready to hunt. And like normal, usually when I get in the tree, there's one thing that I forget, and that is my back strap. So I'm going to reach down here into my sys hauler, and I'm going to pull out my back strap. And for me, this is absolutely essential for comfort. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend you get one or DIY one or something, but it makes such a huge difference. At this point, I'm basically ready to hunt. I find that for myself, it does take a few minutes on each hunt just to kind of dial everything in, settle in. You'll remember at the beginning here that I told you that I had sucked myself up nice and tight into the tree in an effort to be close to the tree to work. For me, this is a little tighter than what I normally like to stand to the tree. So I'm going to just loosen that Ropeman 1 down just a little bit. There we go. That's nice. I generally, most of the time, prefer my comfort channels to be on the top slot. For me, I know a lot of people like them in the middle, but I feel the most comfortable for 90% of the time in my hunt if that comfort channel is in the top slot. So I'll just kind of get comfortable there, settle in, adjust the back strap, and I tell you what, pretty comfortable right now. It's a beautiful evening. I'm ready to hunt. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you got some ideas or tips or tricks, or maybe you are an experienced saddle hunter and you've got some tips and tricks for me. Either way, leave a comment down below. Or if you've got a question for me about my setup, again, leave a comment down below, and I'll do my very best to get back to every single comment that I possibly can. Also, if you're interested in some of the equipment that I'm using, I'll leave links to as much of the gear as I possibly can in the description down below. Not all of the links will be affiliate links. A few of them will be, and if you use those links, then they certainly help me out and give me the opportunity to do more product reviews and make more videos in the future. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought. And until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.